Hey folks, Levi here once again. Welcome back to another superhero review. I hope you enjoyed my revisit review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I do enjoy that film despite the issues I have with it. I still think it's an enjoyable movie. Did need some improvement though, but it's still a good movie. Anyway, guys, remember the mass profile picture? That is the profile picture for my new YouTube channel here. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't subscribe. Do not subscribe to the Batman one. The Batman Mask of the Profile Picture. You can watch videos from that channel, but don't subscribe. If you want to keep seeing me doing more videos, stay on this channel with the Mask Profile Picture on. And remember to click that bell to make sure when I do all personalized. Click all personalized on the bell, and it'll let you know when I upload a video or the next review or whatever. And also stay you know it'll probably let you know about my community posts as well when if I do updates like on what's going on in my life or the next review. You know, yeah, that way you guys will know and you'll be able to look forward to it. So, I want to keep you informed. That's what the community post is for. I like telling you guys what the next review is because, you know, because I'm thinking, well, if my viewers, my subscribers, y'all will keep on, it'll keep you watching and looking forward to the next one because like I do. But anyway, today's review, this is a 2014 superhero film. Yes, it's 10 years old. It is directed by Bryan Singer, written by Simon Kinberg. It is a sequel to X-Men: The Last Stand and X-Men: The First Class. It's a follow-up to Wolverine. Remember, if you remember the end credits, spoiler, in the credits of Wolverine, Magneto and Professor X showed up to Wolverine, and those credits saying that they needed his help, you know. And then this when you get this movie, this is 2014. It's the seventh installment in the X-Men film series. This is the seventh film, and that is X-Men: Days of Future Past. This is also a revisit review. I love this movie. This was a great movie. One of the best X-Men films out there, in my opinion. I haven't seen the Road Cut, but I think the Road Cut was it released in 2015. So I'm gonna wait for 2015 to give that review when I get my 2015 reviews. But for now, I'm gonna review the theatrical cut, which I did enjoy. You know, I did have some issues, but despite that, I thought this was a great movie. This was a lot better than X Men Last Stand. This definitely erases X Men Last Stand out of my mind for what that crap that movie and Origins Wolverine and X Men First Class, which I hate those movies. Yes, including Last Stand. But I do hate Apocalypse a lot too, and even Dark Phoenix a lot more. But anyway, this is before that. This has got an ensemble cast. I like how they time travel in the movie. It had a really good story. You know, yeah, for X Men. So you do get some of the members of X Men First Class in here, and the original X Men in the original trilogy in this one movie together, and that's awesome. And Bryan Singer made it work. You had a great director who directed the first two X Men movies, and I think it worked. In my opinion, they almost fixed everything nearly, but it was definitely the X Men film that we needed at the time. The Wolverine, I don't count that. That's a Wolverine trilogy. Might be the sixth X Men film, but I think that should have been more played. So, but that's a different movie than this. But this was great. Yeah. Producer Lauren Sharon, for the production of the movie, how the film got to be made. Producer Lauren Shirley Donner stated in August 2006 that continuation of the X-Men main film series would require a renegotiation. New cast members of X-Men Last Stand were assigned, while the older cast members were not. Donner said, "There is 40 years worth of stories. I've always wanted to do Days of Future Past, and there's just really a lot of stories yet to be told." She later pitched the idea of a fourth installment of the X-Men franchise to director Bryan Singer, following the completion of the 2011 prequel X-Men First Class. See, told you it was a prequel. In March 2011, Donner said that the film was in active development in Fox. He said, "We took the treatment to Fox and they love it." And X4 leads into X5. 2016 Fox saw X Men First Class as the first film in the new X Men trilogy. Donner compared the franchise plans to the darker, more mature content of the Harry Potter film series. Early reports said that Matthew Vaughn and Singer will return to produce the sequel, respectively. While still attached to the project as director, Vaughn said, "First Class is similar to Batman Begins." Yeah, that was the issue. That's why I hated First Class. It is trying to kind of be Batman Begins, and you can't. Yeah, even though I think Batman Begins is an overrated movie, you can't try to beat that with X Men. That's completely different characters. Where you have the fun of introducing the characters and getting to know them, but that takes time. But with the second one, you can just get on with it and have a roll and a good time. That's the main difference between Batman Begins and Dark Knight. Describing the possible beginning of the film, Vaughn said, "I thought it would be fun to open with that Kennedy assassination, and we revealed the magic bullet was controlled by Magneto. Singer said the film could be centered around the civil rights movement or the Vietnam War, and that Wolverine could once again be featured. Singer also talked about changing history. Sorry. In an interview with Empire Magazine, he said he does not want people to panic about events erased in the storyline of the previous X-Men films, as he believes that the multiverses explain the excuse me, possibly certain chain events that can exist in the historically alternative universes. In 2019, Von revealed that Days of Future Past was really planned to be the third installment in the trilogy, but the studio said otherwise. His decision to leave, which contributed to his decision to leave the project. Good. Speaking of coming soon, it said that's one of the reasons I didn't continue because they didn't listen to me. My plan was First Class, and second film was New Young Wolverine in the '70s. Continue those characters, my version of the X-Men. Yeah, well, your version sucks, Matthew Vaughn. Yeah, First Class I think is overrated, and that film sucks. Yeah, you're trying to be Batman Begins Dark Knight. You can't do that. Yeah, that's why I'm so happy they brought Singer back. Despite some allegations against him in real life, I'm glad they brought him back. The true director of X-Men. Oh, so you'd really get to know all of them. And my final was going to be Days of Future Past. That was going to be my number three when you bring them all in. Because we're bigger than bringing M. Kellen and Michael and Stuart and James and bringing them all together. Fine. When I finished the Days of Future Past script, with it ready to go, I looked at it and said, I really think it would be fun to be cast Tom Hardy or someone as the young Wolverine. Right all together. And Days of Tom Hardy's Wolverine. Sorry, I just can't see it. Mm-hmm. You can't replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You hear me? You can't replace this man as Wolverine. You know. Let's do good. We're doing it now. Really common. Hollywood doesn't understand pacing. Their executives are driving 100 miles per hour during the rearview mirror, not understanding why the cat crash. Kimber said that the main focus of the writing of the film was the feature of the X-Men film series, with the use of cast members from the original trilogy and from First Class. They needed to decide the sequel's destination. In preparation for this film, they studied films about time travel, kind of like Back to the Future, Terminator 1, 2, Judgment Day, which all had to do with time travel. Singer originated a philosophy and set rules for time travel in the film so the story will be as passable as possible. Days passable as possible. Days of Future Past storyline in the Marvel comic book series, The Uncanny X-Men issues 14142, published in 1981. It deals with the desolation future in which mutants are incarcerated in camps, along with humans. An adult Kate Pride transforms her mind into a younger self. Present day Kitty, who brings the X-Men to prevent a fatal moment in history that triggers anti-mutant historian. The storyline was the base of the film. According to Kimberg, as they were writing the script, they thought it was more simple for Wolverine to travel between time periods instead of kidding, because of his ageless look and ability to heal repeatedly. He further stated making Wolverine the time traveler. We made a decision for a lot of reasons. He's the protagonist of the franchise, and probably the most beloved character to the mass audience, which is true. Kinberg and Vaughn consider Bishop and Cable candidates for the role of time traveler. Kimber said Rachel Summers was the first draft to the script. She sent Winter back to 1973, Wolverine back to 1973. The character was being later replaced with Kitty, to whom Kimber gave a secondary power, sending people's consciousness into the past. Angel, Juggernaut, Jubilee, Nightcrawler were also considered for the film, but because they never came to be. But I did miss Nightcrawler on me. I did miss some characters in here. Singer was asked how the film interrogates the themes of the early X-Men films. He said, "It establishes that some villain characters may have right with their fears. It confronts the notions of hope and second chances. Characters are lost trying to find themselves in X-Men 1 and 2. Characters had to come into their own and know who they were. And they're all lost and they're all trying to keep it together. Pre-production. In November 2011, Simon Kingbrough, co-writer of X-Men Last Stand, co-producer of X-Men First Class, retired to write the film's screenplay. May 2012, 20th Century Fox announced the film would be released. They own the rights, by the way. 20th Century Fox owns the rights to the X-Men, I believe. So July 18th, 2014. The release was later moved forward to May 23rd, 2014, not 2012. The title of the film was confirmed to be X-Men Days of Future Past. The film was inspired by Chris Claremont, Genre's X-Men comic storylines, Days of Future Past, which introduced the ideas of alternative future, moved from Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, killing of a senator, leading to a future where mutants are hunted by Sentinels. In October 2012, Vaughn left the role of director to focus on Mark Miller's Kingsman Secret Service, but he still serves as a producer on the movie. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I hate on Matthew Vaughn. Don't get me wrong, I love Kingsman, The Secret Service, and The Golden Circle. Those are entertaining films. But when it comes to making X-Men, no, I don't like the way he does it. He originally wanted a different First Class sequel helmed by another director, with the young Wolverine possibly played by Tom Hardy. Before returning to direct Days of Future Past, set in 1980 films himself. Singer was later announced as the film director. It was his third directional role in the X Men film series. After the last time he directed it was an X Men movie was X2 X Men United, which came out in 2003. Yeah, in May 2nd, 2003, I believe. Yeah. Preparation for the film, Singer approached James Cameron to discuss time travel, string theory, and multiverse. In the same month, Richard Stamos was approached to be the visual effects supervisor, as Singer liked his work in the 2012 film Prometheus. Singer brought back most of the crew he had in X-Men X2. In December 2012, longer absent designers were hired. Production designer John Myrne, who had only done X-Men, and costume designer, also did X-Men 2 and X-Men Under Wolverine. John Arman, who often collaborated with all singers, also was confirmed to work on the music again, which, yeah, Brian Singer says, I decided the next time I got myself involved in a movie that I had a huge amount of attention already that I used Twitter as a way of connecting with the fans, principally, as and also a way of clearing up misunderstandings so that people know. They may hear the actors cast or hear somebody's going to be in it, but until I say so, that's the confirmation. Singer used the online social networking service Twitter to announce casting of the film. In November 2012, he announced that James McCoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence will aspire the Nicholas Hoult will aspire the roles from X-Men First Class. That as a young Professor X, a young Magneto, and a young Mystique, and a young Beast. Hank McCoy. Later the same month, they announced that Patrick Stewart and Amy Taylor were the roles. When you saw them at the inquest as the older Professor, the future Professor X, and Magneto. Singer announced that Hugh Jackman, of course, was for his role as Wolverine, previously being in the Wolverine. In January 2013, Singer announced that Anna Paquin, Sean Astin, and Elliot Page were for the roles of Rogue, Iceman, and Kitty. In February, Singer announced that Peter Dinklage would star in the film as the main antagonist. And Mark Singer announced that the French actor Omar had joined the cast. Halle Berry said she would spy her Storm, which was followed by an announcement from Singer that Berry would be in the film. I think, I know I heard rumors that maybe her and Singer maybe had some issues behind the scenes of the first two X-Men. I don't know if that's completely true on X-Men 2. I do wish that they brought, Alan Cumming back as Nightcrawler, but I think he had a bad experience on X2 and didn't get along with Singer or didn't get along with most people, which sucks. It would have been awesome to see him as not. It would have been awesome. I can't bear speak. Been awesome to see him as a Nightcrawler again. I think Holly Berry. I think she was pregnant at the time. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to say that. But then you had Dana Cordrover who reprised his role as Colossus, and yeah, he was in X Men Last Stand. Fan Bingbing and Bob Stewart had joined the cast. In April, Singer announced that American singer-songwriter Lady Gaga had joined the cast as Dazzler, but it was later revealed as a Fool's Day prank. Singer retrieved a photograph of himself, Aidan Cannon, and confirmed cast members Patrick Stewart, McKellen, Ashmore were followed by a confirmation from that he had joined the cast. And May Singer announced that Evan Peters had been cast as Quicksilver. In Australia, actor Josh Hellman was cast. Josh Singer tweeted a picture of Josh Till on the set of film, which showed that he was returning as Havoc. In January 2014, Jonick had been cast as the younger version of Toad. Stan Lee, co-creator of the X-Men, was scheduled to make a cameo appearance, but only chose to attend the fan. But he didn't. He didn't make a cameo. But Stan Lee does serve as an executive producer on this movie. Filming the production had a budget of $250 million. The budget was $250 million to make this movie. 200 that's 205 $205 million to make the film. The filming began on April 15th, 2013, at Mills de Clamp in Montreal, Canada, and ended in August 17th, 2013. Filming had to begin in April 2013 for the cast and visual schedules. Olympic Stadium, Maternal Hall, and McGill University were also used as filming locations. Plot unit was to film Washington, D.C. It's the first X-Men to be filmed in native 3D. It was shot using aerosol M cameras with Leica Prime lens and Fujifilm lenses. Brian and myself, Alex, said they had been most of the giveaway to get. They were looking like the film. Production designer John Mills said his workload was 6 months squeezed down into 3 or 4 months. The lower underground hallways and Seabrook set were faithful, but they set scene in the first X-Men. Damage to imply the government had raided the mansion. The sets have many hidden exits, including the staircase to the X mansion. In one, they gave Fassbender as the younger as Lyncher a filter as not to be one of the characters born in that first X-Men film. The future period of time wanted a darker, slightly futuristic and technical look for the characters. This included changing the suit Patrick Stewart as he was able to battle. The Sentinels had two separate visions. They protest built by Trask in the 1970s, killing machines of the future. Singer described the 1973 version a little fun and stylish, but also a little retro. I'm just reading some things here. On the other hand, the future Sentinels would resemble giant versions of Mystique to show how technical development was based on studying the shapeshifting mutant's DNA. Thus, their design Mystique is feminine, with the body covered in mechanical scales, moved in the process of adapting to a mutant's attack. For the future setting of the film, featuring a hillside monster, was built. X-Men Days of Future Past had about 1,311 visual effects shot produced by 12 studios. The leading company was a moving picture company, who created the Future Sentinels, and they worked on sequels along with the X-Jet and Zero's Red Virtual World. That allows Charles and his mom to use Cerebro. The red are mutants and the white ones are humans. Yeah. The Sentinels Mystique transformation eyes, digital stuff, a lot of CGI in here too, of course. It's 2014, so you're going to see a lot of that. And anyway, for the marketing for the film, you had the trailer, you had the TV spots for the film. Let's see. You had the big cast at Comic Con, and this was 2013. You know, yes, and this film had a large cast, so I can't see that picture well. But I do remember watching it on YouTube, the whole thing with the cast talking about the movie. Yeah, they had the trailer. A restaurant called, I guess it's a fast food called Carl's Jr. Well, there was a feature of Colossus like eating a burger or whatever, and there's some action figures from Carl Jr.'s, some action figures from the movie, some toys they sell for the film, Carl Jr. I guess that's like Hardee's almost. I don't know. Yeah. Even though they have Rogue, I know we have the Rogue Cup, but Rogue is not in this director cut much. Spoiler alert, she's not. Carl Jr. Yeah. Yep, there was a toy set up for the movie. X-Men team, these people teams up with Carl Jr.'s as Wolverine. That was pretty funny. And I guess Quicksilver also was in there too. And like I said, Colossus as well. The actor who played Colossus. And then transforming into his metal form. Yeah, but just to help market the movie. But of course, we had the trailer, and when the knew this movie was coming, the new cast was being here. I remember the trailer being the trailer for this film was great. You know, in my opinion, it really, trailer is a marketing tool for the movie for your movie. It helps people to go see it, and the movie had a great poster too. Uh, Originally it was not the DVD I have here, but it was this poster for the movie. Yeah, yeah, a really great poster for the film. Those are you gotta have a trailer, you have TV spots, you gotta get people excited. I'm sure they had a Super Bowl trailer, of course. Just to get people excited. This is some of the cast members. Yeah. But for the cast, you have Hugh Jackman as Logan Wolverine. He's a minute with killing, heightened animal-like senses, and his claws. But in 1973, he just has his bone claws like he did in X-Men vs. Wolverine. Hugh Jackman's been playing the character since 2000. For the first, X-Men 2000, X2, X-Men 9, X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men vs. Wolverine. And of course, had a cameo in First Class in the Wolverine. Yeah, and he's done other movies. Swordfish. Yeah. I didn't care for Swordfish, but I liked him in that. I thought he was pretty good in that film. Yeah. Australia, Van Hazeling, yeah, and James McCoy plays the young Charles Xavier. McCoy, he did a movie called Split, I think, and of course X Men Apocalypse and X Men Dark Phoenix. But I think it ended with Dark Phoenix. Patrick Stewart plays the older Charles Xavier. Patrick Stewart. Aside from X Men being the first X movie, he was in Star Trek: The Next Generation, the TV show, and some of the Star Trek the Next Generation movies, which was Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis, playing Captain Jean-Luc Picard. And of course, he voiced an alien character, King Goobot, I think, and Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. I think he was in the first Ted movie. Yeah, did a voice for Chicken Little and the Prince of Egypt. So, but great actor. Michael Fassbender plays the young Magneto. He was in Jonah Hex. Yeah, that was terrible, awful movie. He was in Alien Covenant, which I heard not very many good things about it. I think he plays Steve Jobs yeah. Again, these two actors are my favorite, but I do like Ian McKellen as Eric Luncher Magneto. Like he's been doing Magneto, playing Magneto since the first X-Men film from X-Men 2000 and X2 X-Men United. And sadly, I think for Patrick and Ian, this would be the last film you've probably seen them in. I think, well, not Patrick. He uh was in Logan. Ian McKellen. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know Patrick was in Logan and had a cameo. He was in for a short time. He was in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. But if you want to talk about Ian McKellen, The Shadow, he was in that with that Baldwin. That's a superhero movie way long before X Men was came out. Yeah, but another good actor. Yeah, of course, Charles Xavier, he's a mutant. He's the world's most powerful telepath. He can read your mind. He can even freeze people in time or speak to you through a person through his mind. Magneto has the power. He can control magnetic fields. He has the power of magnetism. He can control metal. Yeah, they're the two that started the X Men, but because of their differences of how to handle being a mutant, of why Charles wants to bring peace with people, you know, Eric believed that there was a war coming, so he became Magneto. So he created the Brotherhood of Mutants to fight against the humans, to attack the humans, believing that they're a threat. You know, and Jennifer Lawrence is Raven Mystique. I do wish Rebecca Romijn would have been here as an older Mystique, but I guess she was too busy at the time, or just didn't want to do this movie. But Jennifer Lawrence was great. She did a good job in the first movie, even though despite how bad that movie was. Uh, I liked her in Passengers with Chris Pratt, who of course was Star Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy. Uh, can't really think of any of the movies, but she would be in X Men Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. Oh, spoiler alert, she dies in Dark Phoenix, but in here, despite her bad performance and not giving a crap in Dark Phoenix, she carries in here. She gives really good performance in here. And Holly Berry as Storm, a mutant who can manipulate weather, is battle tested and powerful X Men ever. Asked her for pregnant. Okay, so she wasn't in the movie as much as it was meant to be. Her growing belly was posing a constant challenge, so I guess they, due to her surprise pregnancy, it just it happened at the time. And she had a limited schedule. But Holly Berry, she was Storm and X Men 2000, X2, X Men United, and X Men 3. That was 2006, and she comes back in this movie, but you don't see much of her, sadly. It's not like she had a lot to do in the first movie anyway. But in the second movie, they gave her a little more to do, and the third movie as well. But in here, it's because she's pregnant, and I guess Holly Berry couldn't do very much. But she was in movies like The Flintstones, you know, Eddie Murphy's movie Boomerang. But beautiful actress, she was in John Wick 3. She was also in Swordfish, co-starring with Hugh Jackman, and Die Another Day. And of course, a superhero movie called Catwoman. Yes. Anna Paquin as Rogue, but she has a small part in here. That's when you get the Rogue cut. It did suck that they cut her scenes in the movie. Elliot Page is Kitty Pryde. The minute who can pass through solid objects. Don't care about Helen Page. She's alright in this movie, but I'd rather have more Rogue. But they only keep her around for the time travel, and that's it. Keep Wolverine time travel. But Peter Dinklage as Dr. Bulova Trask, a military scientist and the head of Trask, who creates these range of robots called Sentinels. They're designed to find and destroy mutants. Peter Dinklage, I remember him, and well, he was in Game of Thrones. I've never seen that. Yeah, but he's a good actor. He was an Elf. Call me Elf. Uh, oh yeah, today's Monday, right? Very good dress like you guys come now. Anyway, Uh, he was an elf, if you remember. Call me elf one more time. You feel like my friend? Call me elf one more time. You're an elf. And of course, the Chronicles of Narnia. He was also on Pixels with Adam Sandler, which I like that movie. I know a lot of people hate it. And I believe he was also in Avengers Infinity War. So he got to work with Marvel again. But he's a good actor. Nicholas Hoult as Hank Beast, Spider-Man's role from the first movie. Nicholas Hoult will be playing, I believe he will be playing Lex Luthor in the new Superman movie. Hmm. Which I don't know if I can really see him as Lex Luthor, but who knows. Not really looking forward to that movie, that's just me. Sean Ashmore as Bobby Iceman, a mutant who can create manipulate ice. Last time we saw him was he was in X Men, the first movie, X2, X Men 9, and X Men 3. Sean Ashmore, I think he has a let's see, or it could be in him. He was in the Disney movie Cadet Kelly, the first X Men movie, like I said, and X2 and X Men 3. He was not in Smallville, was he? Okay, no. He's a let's see. Okay, yeah, Aaron Ashmore, who's his twin brother. His brother Aaron was in the episode called Leech in Smallville. Yeah. And his brother, I think, also played Jimmy Olsen in Smallville season. I think it started with season 6. Well, it had to be one of them. Sorry, it's a little confusing. They both look alike because they're twins, and I'm like, okay, yeah. He played a guy named was it Eric Summers? I don't remember. No, it was something. I can't remember the name. Anyway, despite that though, he was in Smallville. Leech was an episode where Aaron Ashmore's character got Clark's powers and he became bad. Then he came back in season 3. Then he returned in Smallville again as Jimmy Olsen. Yeah. But he was not Jimmy Olsen first on the show. He was a villain first, who got Clark's powers. You know, and came back in season 3 to work with Jonathan Taylor Thompson in that episode. Yeah. So at least Sean had his brother Aaron, who worked in a superhero show. Omar Sy as Bishop, a mutant who can absorb energy, radiate and kill a blast, which is pretty cool. He's pretty good in the movie. Can't think of any of the films I've seen. Jurassic World, he was in that. You know, okay. Did a voice for the Angry Birds movie, No More the North. No More the North. I heard that movie sucked, but I don't know. Never seen it. And Evan Peters as Peter Quicksilver. He was in I think Never Back Down, and of course he had a supporting role in Kick-Ass, which I hate that movie. Yeah, but yes, Matthew Vaughn got him the part in this movie, and he was in X-Men Apocalypse and with Deadpool one and yeah Deadpool 2. He was in Deadpool 2 instead of cameo in Dark Phoenix, but not very much in that movie. Josh Hellman as the younger Major William Stryker, Bill Stryker, military officer who hates peanuts. Brian Cox, who is the older Stryker, appears in archive footage. Fang Bing has Blink, a mutant who can create portals to teleport, which again is pretty cool. No can Sunspot, a mutant with the ability to project the solar energy, create flames, but also producing solar power, strength, and flight. Bobo Boo Stewart as Warpath, a Bowie knife wielding mutant tracker with super agility, reflex, and stamina, and adult senses and sense strength. It's pretty good. Can sense, yeah, Warpath can sense when the Sentinels are going to come to attack. Then you effectively commands Gene Marshall in front of the roles as Jean Grey and Scott Summers, who had his cameo appearance. And you have Lucas Till Spires his role as Havoc. Even John portrays Toad, a younger version, that was played by Ray Park, I believe, from Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace as Darth Maul. Greg Wolf portrays Ink. Mark Kimnell portrays U.S. President Richard Nixon. And the movie is once again directed by Bryan Singer, who of course directed the first 2 movies. Well, oh, Okay, I guess he had a bit of a part in Star Trek Nemesis. He directed the first X-Men, X-Men 2. He directed Superman Returns. He was he didn't direct Look Up in the Sky, the Amazing Story of Superman, the documentary film. That was a good documentary. I gotta get that on DVD eventually. But he did produce it, and he does talk about it, talking about Superman Returns because he worked on that. Trick or Treat. He directed X-Men Apocalypse, Barton Rosberg, Dark Phoenix. Well, he's uncredited, or just more. I guess he did work on that movie. Or maybe he just didn't want to be credited because of how awful that movie was. Simon Kinberg directs the script for the movie. See, he's worked on movies like X State of the Union, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, X-Men Last Stand, movies I'm not too big on. I'm a fan of. I like Jumper. Sherlock Holmes, I like that. Don't care for X-Men First Class. This Means War, didn't care for that. Elysium, didn't care for that. Days of Future Past, Let's Be Cops, never seen that. Fantastic Four 2015 film. I don't mind that movie, but I know a lot of people hate it. The Martian, I wasn't too big on that, but that's just me. And the first Deadpool and X-Men Apocalypse, and Deadpool and Logan, I love that he wrote the scripts for that. Those got good writing, but X-Men Apocalypse was not. And neither is Dark Phoenix. The New Mutants, he worked on that. And the Running Man remake, he's remake. I'm like, really? I hate that they're going to remake that in the first place. Produced by Jane Goldman, Simon Kinberg, and Matthew Vaughn, who I guess is credited. She did the story for the X-Men First Class, Kingsman Secret Service, Kingsman the Golden Circle, and the first Kick-Ass movie. And Matthew Vaughn is the guy who directed the first Kick-Ass movie and X-Men First Class in a film called Layer Cake. Never seen it. And he directed Kings. Like I said, I hate the movie Kick-Ass that he directed. That's a terrible film, and I hate First Class as well. But he's just a producer, and X-Men Days of Future Past was good enough. Yeah, but he did direct Kingsman Secret Service and Golden Circle. He didn't have time to direct Days of Future Past because he was busy doing Kingsman Secret Service anyway. And it's based on X-Men created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, produced by Bryan Singer, Lawrence Donner, who is the wife of the late Richard Donner, who directed Superman the movie. No, I'm sorry, I don't like the Superman 2 Richard Donner cut. But she's produced movies like Mr. Mom, that was Michael Keaton, almost Fire Pretty in Pink, which I think is that a John Hughes movie? Yep, John Hughes film that John Hughes wrote. Free Willy 1 and 2, Leave at Your Home, You've Got Melanie, Give a Sunday, the first two X-Men movies. She produced Constantine, which was DC, and X-Men Last Stand, and X-Men Wolverine, and First Class. And after this movie, she did go on to produce Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse, Logan, Deadpool 2, Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, and Deadpool and Wolverine. Cinematography by Newton Thomas Sewell. He's done cinematography films like Latino, Rude Awakening, Blank Man. He okay. Yeah, that's a superhero movie from 1994. The first X-Men movie, Three Kings, Leatherheads, X2, X-Men United, Superman Returns. Did the cinematography for that. He knows how to do cinematography. I'll give him that. And X-Men Apocalypse. Even though I like that movie does have nice cinematography in it. I'm not gonna lie, I think it does. The music, it's said by John Ottoman, and the music is by him too. Now he's worked with Brian Singer on The Usual Suspects. Uh, did he do the music for Cable Guy? Yep. He did the music for the Cable Guy, directed by Ben Stiller, and the one with Jim Carrey, Matthew Broderick. Love that movie. Underrated film. And Halloween H2O. Years later, Blake Plaskett did the music for that. And he did the music for X2. I love the score for X2. And he did the score for Cellular, starring Chris Evans from 2004. Good movie. Hide and Seek, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, directed by Shane Black. Fantastic Four 2005 movie. And Rise of the Silver Surfer and Superman Returns. Really knows how to pull a good score in my opinion. Nonstop, X-Men Apocalypse. Distributed by 20th Century Fox. It was released May 23rd, 2014 here in the US, here in the United States. It's 113 minutes long, about 2 hours and 12 minutes long of running time. The budget is estimated to be around $200 or $205 million. Box office, it made $746 million worldwide. The film did receive praise for its story, visual effects, and and acting. And of course, it led to Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. We know how those turned out. I'm just kidding. I think critics like the people. I think people to this day I think like this movie. Following criticism of X-Men Last Stand for killing off Professor X, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, Future Past has similarly been viewed by some critics as a revision of those controversial plot elements in X-Men Last Stand, which it has. It erased that movie. Yeah. Well, not completely, but erased what the bad that movie did, though. But anyway, for the story of X-Men Last Stand, but the story is set in the future, many years in the future, probably like I gotta get this right though first. Hold on. It's basically in the future of 2023, which was we're not too far from, but basically opens up in the year 2023. The X-Men are still around, but they are on the run from these things called Sentinels. These Sentinels, they're like big machines. They're kind of like the Terminators, for instance, and they basically wipe out and kill mutants, and the mutants have to be on the run. Humans and mutants are like in prison together. So it's like a world of slavery almost, in a world where they have to run. But anyway, because he's convinced that mutants pose a threat to humanity, Dr. Trask, played by Peter Dinklage, develops these Sentinels, enormous robotic weapons that can detect detect a mutant gene and zero in on that person, which means kill them. In the 21st century, the Sentinels have evolved into highly efficient killing machines, with mutants now facing extinction. Wolverine, since they want to, Charles and Charles and Professor X and Magneto decided to team up, and that they need to save their future, that this force comet was done a lot of damage, and that they need to save the their mutant kind. He volunteers to go back to time and rally the X-Men of the past to help change the moment in history, and therefore save their future from being, so that they can get back to helping people, get back to the things they were, and erase these signals from history for good. Yeah, and save mutant kind, save all mutant kind. So that's the story for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's when you get the X-Men from the First Class coming here because they time travel. All right. I'll talk about the movie itself. Then this is actually I will talk about the Rogue Cut eventually, which by the way I've never seen before. I've only seen this, and this movie's been out for 10 years. Anyway, the film opens up in 2023 or the future. Looks like it's New York or something, but it's an awful looking future. It's dark and bleak, and buildings are torn down, and humans and mutants are captured. You have Charles Xavier doing narration. Of course, it's great to hear that, like he did in the first two movies. Yeah, talking about evolution, talking about what happened to mankind, telling us the story of the film. It's in Moscow and Russia. These Sentinels they ambush a group of X-Men survivors. That is Warpath, Bishop, Blink, Sunspot, and then you have Iceman and Shadow Cat, Colossus. You know, they get cornered in their underground hideout. They try to hide from the Sentinels. They're trying to meet up with Professor X and Magneto and Storm, but they haven't been able to because they've been on the run a lot from the Sentinels who are like Terminators, but the Sentinels can sense them and they try to kill them. Yeah, but you get some good action there with them fighting with the Sentinel. Fourth pass like shoots at them. Uh, Blink and her powers are pretty cool too. Bishop uses his gun and that's awesome. Iceman, you see him turn into ice form and like he can grab his ice to slide and just fight a bit. And I think Kitty uses Colossus fights too. Colossus breaks one down. He can turn into metal. That's what he can do. His whole body's like part of metal. Iceman though, the mutant Sentinel grabs him and like kills him, but she sets him into the time or whatever. He can like touch her head, like shock your head, and erases that time, bringing him back to life. but they sacrifice themselves to buy enough time for Shadowcat to project Bishop's consciousness. Like I said, Iceman. I mean, that Sentinel grabs his head, which is on ice by the way, grabs it and crushes it off. But what Shadowcat, she sends Bishop's consciousness a few days into the past to warn the others, his younger self, to warn them of their survival. She does that every time. They regroup in a monastery in China, and they get joined by Storm, which is a good to see Halle Berry just walking off the X jet coming up. You see Storm, and you see Wolverine, of course, smoking a cigarette. Then you see Professor X and Magneto, and they talk. They just say, "Hey, you doing? Hey, Storm. Hey, Logan. Hey, kid." They just say hey to each other, and they go in for a talk. And Professor X explains to them that the Sentinels were created in 1973, originated by Bolivar Trask. He's a weapons designer who was assassinated by Mystique in 1973. Mystique, who he says that it was his sister. Again, not from the first two movies, but they have to go with that storyline from X Men First Class. Thank you, Matthew Vaughn. They have to go off. They have to go off with that, of course. That she took a different path, and that he couldn't help her, and she kills Trask. She murders him, and she gets captured. Hmm. What they do is they capture Mystique. They analyze her. They get her blood. They're able to get her blood DNA, and Trask uses that to create the Sentinels, which the Sentinels of today that have become more deadlier and can wipe out the mutants. And then Xavier, his plan is to send him back in time to 1973 so that he can stop Mystique from killing Trask and help her altering the future. The Shadowcats protest that doing so would kill him, but Wolverine volunteers instead. Why don't you send somebody that can heal faster? And because Wolverine doesn't age, he can heal faster because of his abilities. He can survive it. And he's like, "You're gonna feel a bit of pain." He's like, he's like, "Logan, you're gonna find me a different man then. I didn't have my powers, so in 1973 he didn't have his powers. He was depressed and all that." And of course, in his darker path, Magneto was in a prison, a highly secure prison, enough to keep him down there when they use instead of guns that are metal, plastic guns. They have to use something like that. Can't use anything metal. They even throw food down to him, kind of like a dog, because like he's an animal, must have to throw food down him. Because if any officer walks straight in his cell, Magneto can catch him. You know, if they have anything magnetic on, and she's able to feel the oh, that you know arrives. He arrives in his younger body in 1973, and of course, I guess because the ladies, women love it. Yeah, he's sleeping with this girl. Wakes up, we see his butt. Of course, you can tell Hugh Jackman's wearing. I'm like, okay, dude, I don't really want to see her. Maybe the ladies enjoy looking at her, but I don't want to see that. But anyway, he puts his pants back on. He's like, holy shit, they did it. He's like younger, and these guys are like, he's like, well, I'm from the future. I'm here to save the past or whatever. Save the future or whatever. So I'm from the future. I'm here to save the past. He's like, yeah, right. And Wolverine just he's like, his bumper is like, oh shit. And he attacks this guy. He does get shot a couple times. They do shoot him. He's like, you see Wolverine stab him a bit, stab one guy. Of course, they don't have any blood, which is fine. But I do wish to see a little blood. That would have been cool. But again, since it's an X Men movie, it's PG-13. I'm fine with it. Yeah, they're not gonna make an X Men movie rated R. Yeah, well, that would be cool, but it's not a Wolverine movie. It's still an X Men film. But anyway, Wolverine like a badass knocks him out, gets away. See how it's 1973 doing. He steals the car. Wolverine heads to the X Mansion to find Xavier. Uh, he meets a younger Hank McCoy Beast. He's like Beast. He explains to him like, he's like, well, there's something before that. Well, you do see where Mystique is in this past. She's helping the mutants. She saves them from these mutants that are in the military. They're set to be captured, and Moonstar's going to take them in before do experiments on them. And she goes undercover as a general. Because she can transform, Maxine can transform herself into anyone. She, the general, does this to Havoc, who's there, played by the same actor from First Class. Winks at him, and she attacks them. She's about to kill this one guy, and you know, Havoc Knight knocks him out, and they get out of there. And Stryker's not very happy about it. But then we get to Wolverine, where he goes to the X Mansion, sees the young Hemsworth, was like, "No, there's nobody here. There is no professor here. There's no school no more. Can't you read? It's been closed for a year due to the Vietnam War, and because a lot of the mutants he had to be shipped. And Charles has lost much. He's lost Mystique. He's lost his friend Eric. He's lost a lot, And he takes this drug that takes away his powers so that he can walk. But he punches. He's like, "We're gonna be friends with that." And he punches like in the face. And I love the way. First of all, I do love the way that Beast looks in this film. Looks like a lot better. In the first movie, he looked like a Thundercat, but in this movie, he looks like an actual beast. And here, the younger cast, though, I do feel like they gave their performances. You know, nobody's acting like they're constipated or anything or making faces, weird faces half the time. No, they don't do it like Brian Singer. They got Brian Singer as a director, so they have at the helm of directing. So you have a guy who knows what he's doing. You know, and I believe Singer, got a good performance out of all these folks that worked in this movie. Magneto has been falsely, well, I'm sorry, spoilers in this. He's been he's been arrested for assassinating JFK because Eric does love his bullets. He's like, we gotta find him. She was like, no, I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna help you at all. Oh, we all gotta die sometime. So, and he tells you, you know what? You told me we tried to help you one time. And he goes, and James McCoy, Professor X, tells him, Charles tells him, Logan, fuck off. He's like, look, no, we need your help now. I was like, no, I'm not gonna listen. It's like, well, he's lost a lot. And then he's like, okay, I'll help you. Not to help your future, but I'll help you what you need to do. And he's also turned to alcoholism. And he injects himself with this serum created by Beast that enables him to walk, but it takes away his powers. He tells them, Wolverine tells them about the future, the Sentinels, what's going to happen, and dark how bleak it'll look, and they're going to be hunted. Mutants are going to be killed, and mutants and humans are going to be like in a prison. You know, they've been enemies. He's like helped them a long time ago, but it's just hard for them to believe because that time has not happened yet. Where it's even before Professor X has met Scott Summers or Jean Grey or Storm or even Wolverine himself. Way before that, you know. But he will actually be not really to help Mystique, and he's like, "Well, I know a guy that can help us." And they go to Peter Maxoff, who was AKA Quicksilver. And Quicksilver's like, "Well, you dudes are from the future, huh?" Yeah, you tell that. And see that he's been selling stuff, so he just do anything he wants. He's just so fast. He finds out about them, and he offers them out. And they go to the prison, and he's able to get into there quick. He sees a security guard. He's like, "Grab duct tape," and he takes the guy up in big duct tape. Gets in there to Magneto. He's like, "Be watchful of the, watch out for the glass." He's like, looks up. He's like, just vibrates it and breaks the glass. He's like, "Come on, let's get out of here." And he's like, "Just gonna hold on to me. There's gonna be security guards coming. We're gonna fight them." If they don't fight to fight the guards. He's able to run real quick. And he's like, "So, dude, what are you in jail for?" Like killing the president. But mainly, I was just trying to help our kind. Yeah. Because they'll need Eric's help. And when Charles sees him again, Charles tries to be these people like, we're police officer, the GO POB or whatever like that, and Wolverine just knocks him out. So I was like, your story was baloney, by the way. And when he sees Charles again, he's like, I detest violence. But despite that, he punches Eric in the face. Like, oh, he's like, we're just here to help you because we need you, Eric. Yeah. Before they get shot, the police is like, Charles frees him, and Charles can't do it. My knee's about to move, but Quicksilver uses his super speed. You know, has a leak from a drink. They make the water sprinklers go off, so it's raining in there. And the funniest moment, I thought when he gets or police officers to look at each other, He was the funniest thing in X Men Apocalypse. Dark Phoenix isn't much to do, but he does have one scene I liked in Apocalypse. Probably the best thing about that movie, in my opinion, was him. But that was a funny moment. He gets him out of there. They go on the plane, and they say thank you for your help, Quicksilver. Thank you for your help, Peter. Don't steal the car and slow down with it. And young Magneto meets Wolverine. He's like, "Do we know each other in the future?" He's like, "Well, I kind of just hunt you down a lot, and you down for years." He's like, "Oh, well, he tries to grab a paper from Wolverine, like a newspaper. Wolverine. He's like, "Is this bone clothes?" I thank God. Well, you look at those aren't metal. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Mystique ends up going undercover as Trask himself, disguises him. She has she discovers that he's been experimenting on mutants to create his Sentinel prototypes, so she possibly kill him at the Paris Peace Accords. I already mentioned that yeah, but anyway, she sees that she finds out that her old comrades like Angel, uh, Hazel, played by Jason Filmon in the first movie, and Emma, uh, Janer Jones' character, that they've all been killed off. They've all died, and it's just her and Magneto alive, but they separated, part of ways, but have fallen out, I guess. And she goes on her own, and they arrive, and she's in the meeting, but she seduces this one general. She chokes him out, kills the guy, I assume, or passes him out, and he goes to disguise him. And Trask talks about the Sentinels and his plan for it. All of a sudden, he has this tape. Well, it's not this tape. It's just like this little machine he's got in his pocket, or this little recorder that he could tape. Or Mina starts like, "Oh, we got more." Like, and she kicks, and she's about to kill Trask, but they stop her, and she still gets tased by Striker. Magneto uses his power to, use those on Striker himself. Wolverine sees Striker, and you see Brian Cox in the footage. He's like, Wolverine, and so he goes through, and it kind of makes him go through a relapse. He calls his future body in 2023 violently flash out. He cuts, he stabs a Kitty, you know. But Magneto just able to use his, who can control metal, controls his claws as well, which stop Magneto. But Magneto attempts to kill Magneto, but he attempts to kill Mystique. He believes that with her future death be enough to go to the future, so he tries to murder her. He does get a bullet, to try to shoot her with a gun, and punches him off him, and I guess like kind of like the Hulk, Hank gets mad, he becomes the Beast, and he does fight with him. He starts down with the water there, and finally like in a water fountain, he's beating him up, and he manages to use his abilities to get him tied down, just to get him away. These cops try to, point a gun at him. He's like, also the whole thing with JFK, he says that JFK was a mutant. He's trying to save him, but that didn't work. And Magneto gets away, planning to make a big announcement in Washington D.C. And their fight probably poses the existence of mutants in the world because he transforms in front of them, and even though he tries to kill her, like I said, B stops him, but she gets away. You know, Mystique transfers herself into an old man. Then President Nixon authorized the Sentinel program and arranged for the Sentinel protests to the public in Washington. Magneto goes to the airport. I mean, not the airport, but subway. Him and Mystique talk. He's like, are you Charles Raven? Or are you my Mystique? I was like, what happened? They're all dead because of you, Charles, because of what you've done, Eric. It's like we just killed this one guy and that's it. It can save our race. It's like, but killing one person is not enough for you, is it, Eric? And she walks away, transforms, and he can't see her. He's like, but meanwhile, he does go Trask Industries. Magneto does, and he grabs his helmet. And he goes on this train. He secretly takes control of Trask's Sentinels. He infuses them with steel, getting them under his control. The pair then return to the X Mansion, and he's like, Wolverine's like, he's like, getting back to not wanting. He's like, I need the serum, I need the serum. And Hank goes up, but Logan says, you don't need to do that. You need to help us. That's who you are. You help us. You're Professor X. That's what you do. You help our kind. You teach us to fight for good and all that. Like you don't need it. And he's like, okay, I don't need it. And they get the wheelchair. They go to Cerebro. But Xavier, you have Cerebro. He blows off the helmet, and there's dust on it. Tries to reach mine, but he's like, I can't do it. I just can't. He's like, you won't do it because you're scared. And he's like, Wolverine. Wolverine says, once you read my mind, he's like, there's nothing, no damage you can do that's already been done. I can take the pain. And he sees Wolverine's pain of, being the next man, killing Jean and going, getting his metal claws, his antimanium claws, and his relationship with Jean. And when he killed Jean in Next Man Last Stand, he's like, so much pain. I don't want your pain. I don't want your future. He's like, just look a little deeper. And then he sees the future self, and this is when you get Patrick Stewart and Janet Coyle on screen together, younger and older. Xavier said it's in the same scene. It's kind of like the future, but it's like a vision, if you will, and they're actually seeing each other in this vision. He's like, Charles, we need you to save the future. The mutants need you. This is who you are. You know, this is who you will become. It'll take a while to get there, and you will go through some things, but you'll be able to get done. And that was just an amazing thing. And then with that, though, Xavier was able to locate Mystique in a subway station. He's trying to convince her, like, killing Trask won't work. You know, that's just Eric talking. He's like, shut up, Charles. She's able to, like, see a vision of Charles through her mind. He's like, killing is not right. You can't do this. This isn't you. Because he's sad because she was a sister and he wants to have her back. And he wants to have his Raven back. But she refused to listen, so they have to travel to Washington, D.C. to prevent her from killing Trask. Nixon reveals the Sentinels to the public. The trio get locate Mystique in the crowd where they have to get security, but Charles is able to use his mind tricks on them. They're like, come on, Logan. He's like, you know, and he even tells Logan, talks to him again, young Professor X Chan, he's like, look, you need to try your best, Professor. You need to try to find Scott, find Scott, Jean, Storm, find us all and help us all. He's like, I promise I will do my best, you know. But they get through the crowd, and they're trying to find Mystique by using his mind, but it's not working. And she's a Secret Service agent. They try to stop her. He's like, Charles, don't stop me. He's about to point that gun out. Magneto activates the Sentinels, and he drops a base. He's like, this guy's like, this was that happy. He's like, no, there's nothing you can do to help me. And he, lifts the baseball stem. It's all made of metal, so he can carry it up. Lands it down there from anybody coming in around the White House. He traps Nixon inside, injuring it. It injures Xavier during the battle. And these mutants, they shoot the cops, and he's able to kill some of the Secret Service agents. They try to protect the president, like in the down basement, and they capture Mystique, who tries to kill him in there. They say, no, don't kill her. I need her alive because he needs her blood sample, because he's fascinated by them. I think maybe Trask, they don't give him a reason to, but I do think in this movie he hates mutants. There's like a picture of a child. I guess somewhat maybe he blames he hates mutants because maybe his child was one and his child died of it, I guess. And I don't know what I'm saying, but I think he has a reason to hate mutants. Yeah, yeah. He gives some reason there a little bit. But anyway, Wolverine tries to attack Magneto permanently, but he's able to impel him and hurl him to the Chromatic River. He, gets this metal like tied up on Wolverine on his body, like, there's Wolverine. And he's able to get him away. Can't control his call, but he can control stuff around him. If they tries to mess stuff out, and Wolverine's able to get away from it. It doesn't work, and even Beast tries to attack him, it doesn't work. Oh, it's the White House bunker. Magneto uses the Bristol bunker with the intention of killing everyone inside. And 23, the X-Men make their last stand as an army of Sentinels attack the monastery. The Battle Storm, Bishop Warpath, and even Wolverine. Not Wolverine, damn it, he's not there. He's sorry, in the river. But anyway, they get stabbed. Well, Magneto Ian McKellen gets stabbed, and even Storm does. They take a last stand, but they all get killed. Magneto's able to, you know, get them, use his powers to stop them from attacking, but gets injured in the process. Beast injects himself with the serum and under his mutant powers and causing one of Magneto's Sentinels basically turn on him, and he uses, he uses his powers to turn on it, on it. He disables the Sentinel, but distracts someone for Pity to reveal herself. She subdues him with a plastic gun. She shoots him with a plastic gun and says, like, "Ah." He's like, "Is that your best shot? You know I can do better than that." She gives him some kicks, knocks him out. It's all your Charles. And Charles is able to control his head, you know, get into his head, get him to get all this rubble off of him. She then attempts to kill Track, but is able to heavily convince her to spare him, leading the public to believe that she saved the president. That's what they believe, and she's like, "It's not the way," you know. And she listens to him. As a result, Mystique is held as a hero. Then the Senate program gets scrapped. Trask gets arrested for selling military secrets to foreign nations, altering the timeline, and erase the dark future of 2023 from history. Then Wolverine wakes up again in 2023, finds some of the X-Men revisited, a future where Xavier is thriving and the X-Men are all alive and well. And then includes he sees like Kelsey Grammer's Beast, and he sees Frankie Jimenez, and he sees and James Marsden. He sees Scott and Jean once again, and Storm and Clausius, Kitty, and even sees Rogue, and that her and Bobby are still boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, the the professor welcomes him back home. Just welcomes him back. He's like, he had to tell me like, and I did keep my promise. But back in 1963, the younger Wolverine is saved by mistake. She disguised herself as Stryker. And then first I say you have an ancient Egypt crowd is seen enchanting a young Anbu Nipper as his four horsemen watch him from a distance. I think that leads up to the X-Men Apocalypse, which Bryan Singer will go on to direct. But then that's the end of the film. They save the future. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I knew that was leading up to Apocalypse. But that's the end of the film. They saved the day. All the X-Men saved. They redeemed it from X-Men. What X-Men Last Stand ruined, they revive it back in this movie. Yeah. I was just reading about Trask a little bit. But this movie was very good. You know, yeah. But that's the end of the film. They save the mutant kind and stop Trask, and he gets arrested in the future. Wolverine's there, but he gets to do the past. But William Stryker, well, who is actually mistaken disguise, saving him, and their future is good. And his powers will keep on being Professor X. Yeah, and that's in the film. But anyway, maybe I'll read some quotes from the movie real quick. Just real quick, folks. Come on, let me read some quotes. I'm messing up like a day, but it's being a little slow. I'm talking about the phone. Sorry, I should have had these quotes all set up. The future, a dark, desolate world, a world of war, suffering, loss on both sides, mutants, and the humans who dare to help them, fighting an enemy we cannot defeat. Are we destined to down this path, destined to destroy ourselves like so many species before us, or can we evolve fast enough to change ourselves? Change is our fate. Is the future set? What do you mean? If your mind gets rocky, it'd be hard for me to hold you. You could start to slip between past and future. What if I need to get a little rocky? Think peaceful thoughts. Peaceful thoughts. You have any good news? Well, you don't really age, so you'll be pretty much like the same. You won't have much time in the past. The Xenos will find us. They always do. And this time, we won't be able to run. We'll have no escape. This is our last chance. When she gets stabbed and injured, though, Bobby tries to save her, but Charles and Professor Schmeiser says no. We need to keep on going. You know, yeah, but some good Trask. You know, who's not supposed to Vietnam without the weapons they need for the war. You're underestimating your enemy. You do not with this enemy, and it won't be some border schism halfway around the world. This time, that war will be our streets, our cities, our homes. By the time you see the new Frontline program, it'll be too late, and you'll have two wars in one lifetime. We're sorry, Dr. Trask, but your Sentinel program ain't gonna fly. It'll pass. It happens to everyone. You must have never done something serious. What you do. What did they have you do, President? For killing the president? Oh. Here we are, Charles. We were supposed to protect them. Where were you when they're down and people needed you, hiding? You and Hank pretend to be something you're not. You know, strong driven, you should be proud of her. She's out there fighting for our cause. You know, but anyway, it's about one hour. Yeah, I don't want to do too much of the video, sorry. But anyway, to give my final pen and nice one days feature best, I love this movie. This is really great. It had a really good story as well. I love the time travel aspect of it. It does seems like it does take a little bit from Back to the Future you know, and Terminator a little bit. But what makes this movie original, I know it's based on a comic book. Yeah, all of them based on comic, but this is basically based on one of the X Men comic books that I didn't mention, and it's a good story. I'm glad they went with that. I'm glad Brian Singer came back to direct. First of all, I love the story of the film. I love the time travel aspect of it. That I think these Sentinel characters, they're from the comics, and they do kill minutes. That is a dark, bleak future for them. And mutants are on the run, and people try to help them. Our mutants and humans are imprisoned, and they're getting killed, and they're on the run. It's the stakes are pretty high in this movie, and I like the whole time with the way the future looks bleak, and Logan having to go back to 1973. That was well done. I thought. I thought the cast did a great job. I like the story. Like with X Men, it's all about evolution, about change. The thing is with the X Men, they're mutants, they're different. People won't accept them. That's the whole thing. Professor X, he wants to believe that that humans and mutants can coexist peacefully together. But Magneto does not believe in that. He believes that there is a war to happen. He says a speech at the end of the movie. I'm talking about, the young Magneto, Michael Fassbender saying, you know, our brother Munis, we don't need to hide anymore. Come and help me fight for our kind. That was a good speech. You know, I thought that was well done. Yeah, but what I really loved about this movie, it had a very engaging and intriguing story. The story was really good. And I thought the cast was great. Even the young cast, who I did not like in the first movie, they were a lot better in there. I like Jennifer Lawrence in the first movie, but the writing was not good. But James McCoy, I thought was good, and so was James McCoy and Professor. I thought they did good, and even Nicholas Hoult, I thought he did a good job. And I like the way Beast looked. He doesn't look like a Thundercat. He looks like an actual terrifying beast. The makeup looked really good for him. Yeah, but it's got a good cast in here. That's what I like about X Men. It's about evolution, about accepting people who are different. You know, you know. And again, the whole cast was great. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. You can't replace him as Wolverine. If Matthew Vaughn got to do his X Men movie, it would have been Tom Hardy's Wolverine, and it wouldn't have worked. But Hugh Jackman, the cast, Hugh Jackman, Jason Cole, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Holly Berry, uh, Elliot Page was okay, but I didn't care for her too much. Hugh Dinklage, Ian McKellen, and Patrick Stewart, they were all great. All the cast in here was fantastic. They all did a great job. Yes, even the younger cast. And, from the original X Men trilogy, the older the X Men trilogy, and then the X Men First Trash, First Class. Well, that's what I think of it as a trash movie, but them coming together in one movie, that was awesome. And it worked. Before I get to any problems, I do think Brian Singer did a great job directing. I think Simon Kinberg is a better writer than director. Yeah. He didn't direct, let's see, did he direct? Shoot. Yeah, he directed Dark Phoenix, and that was awful. Uh, yeah, wrote some X Men Apocalypse too. And Logan produced Logan, I think. But yeah, he would go on to direct X Men Dark Phoenix. Yeah, he's better. as a writer than a director for some movies, but he did a good job writing in the story by Jane Goldman. Even Matthew Vaughn, who did some of the story for this movie, he did good. He's probably not fully credited, but they probably did give him some. Well, his names are in the end credits, so yeah. But it's good thing that he just worked on the story. Let Brian Singer do the directing. Brian Singer did a great job directing. He knows how to direct a good cast, an ensemble cast. Because first of all, he did it with the first X-Men X2. That's an ensemble cast. He did a great job, and he did a great job with this cast too. Yeah. Producers were all good. Yeah. Cinematography. I love the way the film looks from the creepy looking future. It looks nice, and some of the new units like Warpath and Blink, they don't have a lot to do in the movie, but when you see them, they're pretty good. Halle Berry's great, but I would tell you that she doesn't get a whole lot of screen time again because of her pregnancy and schedule at the time. And with such an ensemble cast of a movie, and I know we got the Rogue cut, but I did miss Anna Paquin, as Rogue. But again, like I said, it's an ensemble cast of people. You can only fit so much into one movie, characters in one movie, and with a budget of 205 or $200 million, it's they're depressing for time, for budget because the movie costs budget to make, and if they lose budget, the movie can get scrapped. So yeah, but the music score, dun, 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 yeah, I love John Lennon's score. Always gives a good score for X Men. I think he didn't. No, it was X Men 2. I think it was Michael Kamen in the first movie. I'm sorry, I don't have time to look it up, but I think that was the guy who did the music score for the first Die Hard movie. Yeah, the first Die Hard movie, starring Bruce Willis and late Alan Rickman did the score for that film and did the score for the first X Men movie. Good, but I think I've always liked John Hodgman's score for the X Men movies. I think it was John Powell for X Men Last Stand. That was a little loud and obnoxious. It's a good score, but can be a little loud sometimes. Yeah. But the music score was good. I thought the running time was fine. Yeah, it's 212 minutes, but it doesn't feel like 132 minutes long. That's not too bad. It says 131 minutes here on my DVD, but not so bad. Just 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like a 3 hour movie. Goes by at a pretty good pace. I don't feel like they could have. Yeah, I thought this whole story was good. I thought the story was interesting. It kept me engaged the whole time. I didn't mind it being, if it was 3 hours, it still would have been great. You know, I don't care how long a movie is. I mean, sometimes I care, but you know, for the 2 hour 12 minutes running time, it does have an engaging story, and the story is really good. If you love the X Men and you want a really good story, like you get with the first two movies, you'll get that here. You know, yeah. And I thought James McCoy did a good job. I thought Michael Fassbender, Nicholas what they did a better job. I can't say for the previous next movies, but what they do in those next movies. But you know, despite that, it's good directing. It has a good story. I love the story. That's what really worked. It was the cast and the characters were all great. The special effects, the visual effects were beautiful. The Sentinels look great, and the visual effects are really good. The cinematography is nice. A lot of things were about this movie. Problems: I didn't care for Ella Page that much. She was alright here, but at least unlike in Super from 2010, she's not screaming and you know man raping anybody. What I'm talking about if you've seen Super. You know, no, we don't get that. But she was alright in here. But I do wish Rogue was in here more. Again, they do have the Rogue Cut, which I do plan to review that, but I think that came out in 2015, so I'm gonna wait because there's other superhero movies to review them. After a while. But anyway, I don't know what anymore I can say about X Men Days of Future Past, but it's really good. I highly recommend it. If you're a huge X Men fan or you love Marvel and you like X Men like I do, then you'll love this movie. And say if you hated X Men Last Stand, X Men Wolverine, and X Men First Class like I do, even if you like the Wolverine, which I think the Wolverine should have been rated R and it should have more blood and gore in it, but that was a good film. But if you want a true X Men, a great X Men that becomes a great X Men movie, then watch this. Highly recommended. This is the X Men film we needed after all those films. So not the Wolverine, but Last Stand, Origins of Wolverine, which First Class. All those three films suck. Doesn't get better after this though. Sadly, I wish, but yeah, because I did not care for Apocalypse too much, especially Dark Phoenix outside, which Bryan Singer I don't think was involved, but he did direct Apocalypse, and that was not good. Probably too much studio interference for that one. I don't know, but anyway, I'll worry about that when I get to Apocalypse. But I do plan to review the Days of Future Past Road Cut. I'll get there eventually. But anyway, guys, My rating for X Men Days of Future Past, I'm gonna give this film 5 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up. 5 out of 5 stars. Once again, my rating for X Men Days of Future Past is 5 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up. So guys, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of X Men Days of Future Past in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you agree with me that it's, to me, it's the third best X Men movie, right behind the first two X Men movies. Uh, and then Deadpool 1 and 2, I enjoy those as well, and Logan. Yeah, those were some of those were great too. I haven't seen the New Mutants, didn't care to see that, but that's just me. But I will watch it because it is a superhero movie. Eventually I'll get to that, but that didn't come out until 2020, so many decades after this. But X Men Days of Future Past, love this movie. And that leads to also Deadpool, which we got in 2016. Can't wait to review Deadpool. Yeah, but anyway, third best X Men movie out of the first and second one. Definitely, if you agree with me that it's, you know, do you guys also, what do you think of this film in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you agree with me that it is better than The Last Stand, that it improves that? That erases what that film did? And do you think it's better than X-Men vs. Wolverine and First Class and the Wolverine? But I like the Wolverine still. I just think it should have been rated R. But despite that, that's not an X-Men movie, you know, in my opinion. X-Men Origins, well, this isn't the title, but it's more a Wolverine film, but it's a shitty Wolverine movie. But anyway, despite that, guys, 5 out of 5 stars my rating of this film. So tell me, guys, in the comments down below, what do you think of this film? Do you think it's one of the best X-Men movies ever made? Like I do, one of the best films in the X-Men trilogy? I think it's one of the best films. I would say third best, right after X2 in my opinion. Yes, I highly much enjoy this movie. I love this film. It was great. But and also probably you could have maybe given Trash more of a character. Maybe give him a reason to hate mutants. I guess one wants to just wipe them out, but give him a good reason for it. You know, maybe a little more motivation. I just think he needed a bit more motivation. I just didn't see it there. But and Anna Paquin should have been in the film more. And I could Anna Page. I didn't want her in the movie. And I was fine with James McCoy acting and stuff. I thought it was good. Because again, Bryan Singer's at the helm. They have a good director who knows how to direct them and give a good performance out of them. You know, yeah. It was a great movie. All right, guys. So for my next Super 2010 superhero review, this is another revisit review. This is the 10th MCU, I believe, starring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, and Vin Diesel, and also Bradley Cooper. Lee Pace, I think that's his name, and Glenn Close and John C. Reilly is in this movie, and that is the first film in this trilogy. That is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume One. Yeah, well, the 10th MCU movie. I believe it's the 10th. Yeah, this came right after Captain America. Captain America was supposed to was April. This came out on August 1st. Now I'm getting the 2014 superhero movies that came out in August, and I believe this was the first one. And this is 10 years as well, so I cannot wait to do a revisit review on this great movie right here, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Yes, comments down below. Tell me what you think of X-Men Days of Future Past. Once again, my rating for the film is 5 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about this film down below. And stay tuned for another revisit review. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, folks. I'm sorry, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I might not be able to do a review tomorrow. It could be on Friday. I don't know yet, or today, if I feel like it. But anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy, the 10th MCU movie, Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Yes, I said that. Guardians of the Galaxy. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.